Southwest Louisiana's only locally owned and operated premier multimedia company with radio, television, and digital properties. ESPN 1037 and 1041 often conducts promotional contests on the air and on our digital platforms to include ESPN SouthwestLouisiana.com and the ESPN Text Club. In order to participate in any contest promotion, you must be at least 18 years of age and reside within the broadcast coverage area of ESPN. Only one winner per household for 30 days. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Winners agree to pay any taxes or fees related to a prize as noted in contest rules. Winners also agree that ESPN Southwest Louisiana has permission to use their name, likeness, portrait, recorded voice, or other biographical material to promote the station and participating sponsors. Employees, family members, and sponsors of ESPN Southwest Louisiana and Delta Media are not eligible to participate in any promotional contest. A complete list of rules can be found online at ESPNSouthwestLouisiana.com or available to view at the main offices of Delta Media Corporation during operating business hours, located at 3501 Northwest Evangeline Thruway, Carencro.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
A 3-run ninth inning was not enough for the Houston Astros as they lost 5-4 to the Minnesota Twins last night. Peter Lambert on the mound went 5 2/3, giving up 4 runs on 5 hits with 4 strikeouts. Game 2 of the series will be today, and it'll be Joe Ryan for the Twins versus Mike Burrows for the Astros. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. tonight, and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Yesterday in the World Cup knockout stages, Brazil defeated Japan 2-1 and will face the winner of today's Ivory Coast-Norway match on July 5th. That match kicks off at noon today. Paraguay eliminated Germany in a penalty shootout and will meet the winner of France and Sweden on July 4th. France and Sweden kick off today at 4 p.m. Morocco also advanced on penalties, knocking out the Netherlands to set up a July 4th matchup with Canada. The final round of 32 match today is at 8 p.m. at the Azteca as Ecuador takes on Mexico. The winner will advance to face the winner of Wednesday's DR Congo and England match on July 5th. Two-time NBA All-Star John Morant is on the move as he's been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers from the Memphis Grizzlies. The full trade sends Morant to Portland with Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to Memphis. Morant has only played 76 games for the Grizzlies in the past 3 seasons due to off-court issues and injuries. The Detroit Lions have released cornerback Terrion Arnold yesterday after his bail was set in Hillsbury County, Florida at $1 million. Arnold was arrested after turning himself in last week on felony charges of robbery and kidnapping in Florida. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome into Footnotes. You are listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, as we broadcast from the Bill and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Bill and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. All right, kind of a frustrating Tuesday morning. In baseball, you're going to lose games, but I did not like losing. You never like what happened at the end. One of the beauties of baseball is, for the most part, obviously balls and strikes has always been a different deal. For the most part, I think the players determine who wins and loses the game more than the other two sports that we're talking about, although we're about to talk about soccer where the official decided a game in soccer and the World Cup, and we'll go down that road a little bit as well. Last night, Astros, first of all, the Astros have got I've enjoyed the winning. They've won 5 straight series. Got to start getting better starting pitching. Like, it is not sustainable to have to beat up on bullpens in order to win series and win games. And you're not always going to face bad bullpens. Like, there's only so many really bad bullpens. And so that, you can beat a good bullpen. I'm not saying you can. I mean, that happens. But for the most part, pitchers beat hitters. And good bullpens beat good offenses, even if you're swinging it well. Now, bad defense plays into it, all that kind of stuff. But they have got to start getting better starting pitching. And I don't know what it's going to take. Lambert continues to be a mystery. I watched him pitch again last night. I have no idea how he gets people out consistently. He did not have a good outing. He gave up home runs last night. Around the home runs, he did fine. But even before that, I could argue he's been their most consistent starter. And yet, I don't know how. He's kind of like Mike Burrows with more composure or something. I mean, I don't even know what he is. I don't know how he gets people out. He constantly throws the ball over the plate. He's constantly up in the zone. I don't really know how he's done it, but because he's constantly up, they took advantage of that last night. So the Astros are behind. But once again, the Tigers have statistically the worst bullpen in baseball. Of late, the Twins' bullpen has been dreadful. So I'm like, you know what? They actually might have a chance, even though they can't stop giving up home runs. They're down 4-1, then they're down 5-1, and they hit a 2-run homer. Well, okay. They have a runner on. It's 1 out. The pitcher throws ball 4 to Christian Walker. First of all, why can't the ump just get it right? Just get the call right. They miss so many calls. So anyway, it's obviously the pitch is out the zone. It's obvious ball. And Christian Walker certainly has some blame in this, but it's because if you ever watch Christian Walker, he's easy to like and dislike depending on how you are with body language. He's one of these guys that's he's emotional. He wears his heart on his sleeve. When he does bad, you can see it. When he does good, you can see it. And he just kind of has this, he walks around and he moves his shoulder. I mean, he's just real kind of animated, and you can tell when he's aggravated. But he kind of has this, I don't know, he walks almost like Shaggy sometimes. Just weird old school kind of just walking and drooping his shoulders. I don't know what he does. But anyway, so it's obvious he starts to move towards first base because it's a ball. Anyone who was watching it knew it was a ball, except for the home plate umpire. So he does this droop for a step towards first base, and he realized, because he's assuming that it's a ball because it was a ball. Well, the ump choked and called it a strike. So he takes a step towards first because, I don't know why hitters do that. They're not selling it. There's nothing good can come out of going to first base before the umpire says ball 4. All you do is maybe make the umpire bad and delay the game. What? After all this time, why do they go to first before the umpire says ball 4? Nothing good comes out of it. But anyway, he takes a step towards first because it was ball 4. And then he taps his head. He said, of course. And the ump, Brennan Miller, who started umpiring in the major leagues 3 years ago, decides, I'm not going to give it to him because it took too long. And it is his right to do that, yes. But again, it's the 9th inning. The game's almost over. If you're hungry, get a Snickers bar. It's the 9th inning. The game's almost over. You botched the call. Why are you doing a 41 and a 40 on me? It's like I blew the call and now I'm going to cover it up, even though everyone knows I blew the call. By pulling a 4. Oh, no, you don't get to. You took too long. You took a second or two too long. You're going to botch the call, and then you're going to 41 and a 40 on me. So at that point, this is how my mind works. I'm like, this guy's going to hit a home run, isn't he? Like, they're going to, the next, I don't know about home run. I was thinking this guy's going to get on base. Someone's about to hit a home run, and I'm going to have to be frustrated in this situation. So, of course, that's the second out because he doesn't allow him to the challenge to fly. And then, I don't know how Trammell does this because he's not good, and they got to stop hitting him in the middle of the order. But he hits this long home run. So now it's 5-3. Cam Smith's up, and I'm like, he's about to hit a home run here, and I'm going to be angry because if Walker would have been on base, they'd be tying the game right here. Unbelievable. So what does he do? He crushes the ball, home run. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And, of course, Loperfido grounds out, and the game's over, and they lose 5-4. Now, again, these hitters that move towards first base before, I don't know why they do it. They do it all over the league. They've been doing it for years. I don't get it. Like, what do you gain from that? Wait till the umpire says ball 4, whether he's right or wrong. Especially if you're putting yourself in position for him to pull a 41 and a 40 on you. So I wasn't happy, but I wasn't happy with Christian Walker. But I'd like for home plate umpires to have a little more integrity. You botch your call in the night, didn't cover it up. Just let it play out. What a stupid loss. They have got to get better starting pitching. The problem, like Burrows pitched great his last outing. Before that, he's been terrible. I don't know. Now, Ryan is good. It's Burrows against Ryan, advantage Twins tonight. And Ryan is good, but to be fair, the Astros kind of own Joe Ryan. Like his ERA is like over 5 career against the Astros. For whatever reason, he's a good pitcher that the Astros do well against. So I don't know what's going to – I mean, certainly the Astros could win tonight. But now you've got Pena on the IL again, and suddenly the Rangers don't ever lose games anymore. Hello, sir.
What's up?
I'm a little frustrated this morning.
I heard that.
Have you ever figured out why hitters move forward towards first base until the umpire? Like, what? There's no positive that comes out of that, ever.
I do think there's a little bit of, there's like a confidence thing, I think. When you take a step towards first, I think you're letting the umpire know you thought it was a ball, because I do think you see every once in a while the old batter freezes in the box kind of looking guilty, and then the umpire decides to ring him up. I do think that happens rarely.
So you think there are some advantages to going towards first before he says it?
Yeah, but it's like there's a perfect balance to it. You know what I mean? Like it's like this. It's not even going towards first, but don't freeze in the box like you look like you just struck out. And I don't think this matters as much with Major League umpires, because I think Major League umpires are way more accurate than any other level. You know, we see the stat reports; they're usually 93, 94%. So I don't think they're waiting on you, but I do think there's a lot of like high school, college umpires, and then I mean, of course, Little League, because those guys are just out there usually for the love of the game or a very small paycheck, where like they'll let the batters tell on themselves.
By the way, someone has asked me, what is a 41 and a 40? And what I'm talking about is you get a ticket, right. You get a traffic ticket for going 41 or 42 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. In other words, it's technically correct maybe, but really it's not.
And they said they tried to get him for look into the dugout, because that's the whole thing. But I thought the broadcast was on it. They were like, he looked at the dugout because he couldn't believe the guy called it a strike.
I mean, again, he botches the call and then he covers it up. So it's so frustrating. But and we're about to get to our first time out of the show. But, and I'm angry about it because, I watch a lot of baseball and I see what's going on. Then it's almost like they're preparing me for football season because this is what football is. It's what basketball is. The officials determine the game way more often. So like in soccer, it looked like Germany had won the game late in the 101st minute or whatever it was of the game against Paraguay or Paraguay, however I'm supposed to pronounce it. And they're celebrating, and the announcers are, got Germany on to the next round and everything, and then they do he starts playing charades. Why did they play charades?
I don't know. I love it, though.
Yeah. So they start playing charades, and then the guy says, oh, no, we're taking that goal away.
Yeah, it was a foul.
See, but again, that's why it's hard. There's many reasons why I don't just jump in like some people do. I don't have any frame of reference to say, in 2014 they did that. I'm saying I have that in the sports that I follow. It's hard for me to even give any analysis. Now, I heard two guys who are supposed soccer experts this morning on ESPN say they both thought it was a bad call. Now, but again, I see what they saw, but I have no frame of reference to compare it to other things in that situation and know if it's a bad call or not.
Soccer is a little bit like football in that regard. So in baseball and in basketball, for the most part, I think when a big play happens, you get immediate satisfaction. There's no doubt in your mind, right? When a guy hits a big three, you're not looking around to go, oh, is it a travel? And in baseball, when a guy hits a ball in a gap and scores a run, you're not looking around to go, uh-oh, what's the call on the field? In football, you always have to be checking for penalties, right? And in soccer, you have to be, was there maybe an offsides call? Was there something? There's both those sports, they have this moment of hesitation before the exuberance of your celebration.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? And that's
it is. In fact, it robbed me. What you're saying, I've told that story before. It robbed me of arguably the greatest moment of my sports life.
Tracy Porter.
Because I wasn't celebrating through that whole run back. All I was saying is, are they throwing a flag? Are they throwing a flag? That was all that was in my mind.
The comparable for baseball, just from a TV broadcast, this is where going to the game's completely different, is when, for me, a ground ball's hit pretty solidly, and I've got no idea where the defense is playing. And so when they flip that camera, this ball could be right at the shortstop or it could be in a 10-foot gap for an easy base hit.
Yes. No, that's true. That's true. So you thought it was a good call?
No, I didn't. Again, I'm with you. I don't like to. I don't know the sport well enough, even though I've watched a ton of it in the last 2 weeks. I don't know it well enough to know my gut instinct would be to say time and place, that spot in the game, you let them play, and you really try to not call a foul if you don't have to. But I also think it's crazy they've been losing their minds about these offsides calls, like, oh, his toe was offsides. Okay, if a guy's foot's barely on the line in any other sport, he's out of bounds. So, if that's the rule, that's the rule. Now, I understand their point. Hey, if we relax the offsides rule a little bit, we'd have some more offense. We'd have some more exciting moments in the game. But that's an off-season discussion, right? The rule's the rule. If the guy's offsides by a toenail or by a whole arm, he's offsides. Why are they complaining about it?
Yeah, I don't know enough. I just got the feeling this after that Astros game situation in the ninth inning last night, and then watching the replay of this Germany situation in soccer, I'm like, I am not ready for football. I'm just not ready for football.
You know what can cheer you up? We're going to give a flag away on your show. We're going to do it at the bottom of the first hour.
Yes, that will a little patriotism, a little feeling good, a little feel good moment is certainly what I need. For now, what we need is a timeout. We'll take it and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Regional homes of Opelousas and ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles want to help you celebrate America's 250th birthday. We're giving you a chance to win 250th anniversary of American flag and flagpole kit. Tune in today during the lowdown from 1 to 3 for the American trivia question, and you can be one of our lucky winners. Tune in later today for our special giveaway. Salute and happy 250th birthday, America.
And I'll just jump in and say, actually, it's on this show at the bottom of the first hour.
Okay, yeah, that was okay. We'll take a timeout.
Make sure to set your alarm and tune in Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock for Sports Shorts here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Join me, Ronnie Rance, and the Sports Shorts team of Tommy Christsan, Hunter McCann, and the crazy man, Joel Davis, as we break down the sports and teams that you love. The LSU Tigers, New Orleans Saints, and everything in between. Tune in Saturday mornings from 10 to noon for Sports Shorts here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Lafayette Stars and Stripes is back and bigger than ever as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Join us Saturday, July 4th at Park International in downtown Lafayette for a night of patriotic fun. Gates open at 5 p.m. with live music by Sold Out and Rusty Matwire and the Zydeco Crush, along with delicious food trucks, family activities, local vendors, and plenty of surprises. Then look to the sky for a spectacular fireworks finale at 9:30 p.m. Free admission presented by Lafayette Utility System, LFT Fiber, and Delta Media.
Happy birthday, America. Celebrate our 250th birthday with the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks in Acadiana at Freeman's Discount Fireworks. Their low prices are unbelievable, and all fireworks are guaranteed. They have a huge selection of novelty items to choose from, a large selection of fireworks, and Freeman's Fireworks has the largest selection of artillery shells, assortment packs, and 500-gram cakes. Celebrate America's 250th birthday with your family and the Freeman family with guaranteed fireworks that everyone enjoys. Freeman's Discount Fireworks has 2 convenient locations in New Iberia. They're building on Jefferson Island Road at Admiral Doyle next to Freeman's Food and Furniture, and the Big Tent on Main Street near the corner of Nelson Canal Road. For the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks at the best prices, shop Freeman's Discount Fireworks.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on United States Deputy Sheriff's Association, please visit usdeputy.org.
You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free to do so. 706-0111. 706-0111. If you would like to talk about the Germany, some people would say, getting a raw deal from the officials in the World Cup, the Astros situation last night, which I didn't need. I mean, it would have probably done my heart a whole lot better if they had just gotten beat 5-1, and, you know, the umpires could call strikes and balls. So any of that. Also, we are going to have to speed up the process a little bit on week 5 of our Footnote Summer Project. 1-2 punches, and Dawson is filling in for Blake today, so we can certainly get his input We're doing UL, LSU, and McNeese, and I say speed up the process because it didn't hit me, or I got reminded last night actually, or yesterday afternoon sometime, that, we knew this week is the 4th of July, but we don't have a show on Friday. So, we're going to have to kind of do it all in 4 days. And so we've certainly got a lot more to get to. I don't know. I probably have 15 suggestions written down here. We need to get a lot more today, tomorrow, and Thursday, including some very, very obvious ones, obviously, which we'll get to them all. It doesn't all happen on the first day, and you don't want it to all happen on the first day anyway. So we'll get to that. So certainly, if you have any thoughts about UL, LSU, McNeese, 1-2 punches in any sport, we're doing kind of the local schools, the schools that we talk about this week. And some of those were included in others, but, they were more, in some of those cases, a little bit more afterthoughts and not like legitimate top 10 candidates from a national perspective. So, but this is more of a local and regional perspective. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
I have two.
Okay.
First, sports football. I don't know if anyone, I'm sure someone texted you this. Jake Delhomme, Brandon Stokely.
Yes, someone did. Has anyone said Jake and Brandon? Obviously, it's kind of the obvious one. It's probably, I think you could argue that it might be the best 1-2 punch of any UL, sport or ever. Like it's like the number 1-2 punch in UL athletics. You could argue
Como High, Brandon Stokely.
Yes.
I might add.
Yes.
Now, what you were saying?
You could argue it's the best 1-2 punch in UL athletic history.
Yes. This one, I have help with my friend, because I was in college at this time. I said, hey, man, who would you team up with Lonnie Thomas? He said Blaine Harmon. What's your take on that, Lonnie Thomas and Blaine Harmon?
Well,
and you know what? I still have nightmares about that game against Tennessee. Dick Amberg was on the call. I know we talked about Dick Amberg this summer. He was on the call with James Worthy on that game. But anyway, what's your take on that duo?
Well, I like it. Big fan of Blaine Harmon as a player. I had someone actually email me since yesterday's show that said Lonnie Thomas and Reggie DeGray. Again,
I was thinking that.
Again, we have that situation a lot where if you have a pretty balanced team, then there are different options, different ways to go with it. And so, you can write them both down, Lonnie Thomas and DeGray and Harmon.
Hey, look, I know you said regional, but I'm going to hang up. I want to hear your thoughts. It was a little bit before my time. I kind of heard about it after the fact. Stan Humphries, while he was the quarterback at Northeast, who was his duo? Like what? Northeast won some 1AA titles. I wanted some duos from up there. Thank you.
All right. I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I'm not remembering who Stan Humphries' number one target was. I'd have to look it up. It's a good question. We're not including them, but I certainly don't mind talking about it. It seemed like, that 19. It's funny, the year that they won the 1AA championship, the Cajuns beat them, I want to take 27-14 that season, if I remember the score correctly. But I'm not remembering who his top target was. We'll have to get to that. All right, or look that up, I should say. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Kevin, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Woke up this morning.
Well, I understand that. As a baseball fan, I know you're not doing great because the Yankees have kind of hit a skid here.
Yeah, because they don't have Judge in the lineup.
Yeah, initially they played well without Judge, but it's starting to bite them a little bit. You're right.
But anyway, about that call last night, your batter stepped over the plate into the left-hander batter's box, stopped. And evidently somebody in the dugout got his attention. He put his palms up and shrugged his shoulders. And that was too much time for him to do. So they were calling it from the dugout, not the batter.
Right. It has to be from the batter. I just, because it's him, I don't know. I just wish they would just stay in the batter's box till the umpire tells them ball four. I mean, I think he assumed it was a ball. I think he thought it was a ball all along. I don't think he had any doubt. I understand the procedural stuff you're talking about, but, man, it's just, that is so frustrating.
Well, you know, they tried to clean it up, and they're just going to have to put something that a bell rings or something for a strike, you know, because the umpires have missed a lot this year.
Well, the umpires have missed a lot forever. It's just that now we have a way of, and again, a lot of the, and look, I've taken up for the umpires because a lot of times when the ball just barely touches the square on the ABS challenge, and, you know, and they say, well, he missed 12 calls. Well, yeah, but 4 or 5 of those I can't really criticize him for because the ball, like, barely touched it. I mean, and there was one yesterday in the Phillies-Pirates game where I'm not so sure they even got the ABS right. Like, it looked like it was touching it. But supposedly it just kind of nudged right up into it, but it didn't really touch it. So I don't criticize umpires for those, but that one last night wasn't even close. It was an obvious ball.
Well, I saw the game, and it was a ball. I got to agree with you with that.
Yeah, it's just sickening. But no, it's, you know, you got to pitch better and all that stuff. And Walker, if he just wasn't, he has these slow movements, and it just kills us. But anyway, it's good hearing from you. Hang in there, sir.
All righty. Thank you, Kevin.
All righty. So is it time to give something away here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take the break, and let's do it right on the other side. How about that?
All right.
I will ask the question on the other side, and then we'll be accepting calls after that.
All right. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
A 3-run ninth inning was not enough for the Houston Astros as they lost 5-4 to the Minnesota Twins last night. Peter Lambert on the mound went 5 2/3, giving up 4 runs on 5 hits with 4 strikeouts. Game 2 of the series will be today, and it'll be Joe Ryan for the Twins versus Mike Burrows for the Astros. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. tonight, and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Yesterday in the World Cup knockout stages, Brazil defeated Japan 2-1 and will face the winner of today's Ivory Coast-Norway match on July 5th. That match kicks off at noon today. Paraguay eliminated Germany in a penalty shootout and will meet the winner of France and Sweden on July 4th. France and Sweden kick off today at 4 p.m. Morocco also advanced on penalties, knocking out the Netherlands to set up a July 4th matchup with Canada. The final round of 32 match today is at 8 p.m. at the Azteca as Ecuador takes on Mexico. The winner will advance to face the winner of Wednesday's DR Congo and England match on July 5th. Two-time NBA All-Star John Morant is on the move as he's been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers from the Memphis Grizzlies. The full trade sends Morant to Portland with Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to Memphis. Morant has only played 76 games for the Grizzlies in the past 3 seasons due to off-court issues and injuries. The Detroit Lions have released cornerback Terrion Arnold yesterday after his bail was set in Hillsbury County, Florida at $1 million. Arnold was arrested after turning himself in last week on felony charges of robbery and kidnapping in Florida. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you purchase, our team takes over. From permit and excavation to gunite decking and final startup, you click, we build, you swim. Your backyard upgrade is just a few clicks away. Visit duplessisbuilders.net and buy your pool online today.
Lose weight with Alex Goen patented hypnosis.
This is Lisa Stofan. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods. I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight.
The only weight loss method in America proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office because it reprograms your subconscious. Engineered to kill cravings, emotional eating, and late-night fridge attacks. Get full on half the food so you lose the weight and you keep it off. 10 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever your goal. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome at 11 a.m. Stop smoking at 2 p.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com. alexgoen.com.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason? Moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks or excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping those pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating, 337-367-1414, or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating, the pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice, those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back. Well, we've got some information to answer Jay's question about Stan Humphries' target. But before we do that, we need to give away a prize here. So let's get that done.
All right, Kevin, we're giving away a 250th anniversary flag and flagpole kit in honor of the 4th of July, America's birthday. So it's an American trivia question. I think this one's pretty fair. I don't think it's like incredibly obvious, but I think it's, it's pretty well-known knowledge. Okay, you ready for it?
Okay.
What is the largest U.S. state by land? And if you have the answer, you can call in now. And Kevin, you can now talk about whatever you'd like to talk about while I answer phone calls.
All right. What is the largest state by land is the question in the United States. There's three that come to mind initially for me, and then, you got to pick one and see what it is. All right. The answer, at least a suggestion that I was given to answer Jay's question about Stan Humphries' biggest targets are Jackie Harris and Mike Manzula. Now, I certainly remember Jackie Harris. I was at the game when they played, but again, do I remember everyone who plays on the other team 40 years ago? I don't even remember everyone who played on the Cajuns team 40 years ago. But yeah, it looks like the answer to the question, or the most likely answer to Jay's question, is Mike Manzula. and Jackie Harris. We mentioned Jake and Brandon, which is obviously, is the most obvious one from that era. I've gotten some other suggestions here from Cajun. Initially, we had a lot of UL basketball suggestions, and we've gone over those, and we talked about one when Jay called, the Lonnie Thomas DeGray. When someone called yesterday and suggested that that with Kevin Brooks, it was Mitchell, and I stand by that. I think that was kind of like the 1-2 punch, but also he mentioned later in Brooks's that it was Brooks and Sidney Grider, and they were certainly a 1-2 3-point shooting punch. Although Aaron Mitchell shot a bunch of threes as well, but no, I think either one of those could fly. But I had some other interesting selections here, or Blaine Gauthier and Ladarius Green. And obviously Gauthier was a guy, they weren't giving him a lot of playing time initially. And then once he came in the game, he just caught fire. And obviously him and Green had a very good combination. How about the current head coach, Coach Dez, with Darrell Finroy? I mean, it was one of the most explosive running games, certainly in the Sun Belt. And, it's not too many times where you have multiple. And then Jason Cherry was in that mix as well. I mean, they were very explosive running team there for a while. And Dez and Finroy were a one. But you know me, while I love, throwing the football and, I've certainly I've joked, I remember when they started this email stuff, and I'm like, are you sure this is going to work, this email stuff? And I've got, I now utilize it more than most people. And, I'm okay with the forward pass. I've kind of gotten used to the forward pass. And so even though I'm not a QW, but I also like other positions. So I had a very interesting one. Britt Jackson and Damon Mason. Anybody who remembers or seen the highlights of the upset of A&M, what was that, 40 years ago? Britt Jackson and Damon Mason is an interesting 1-2 punch I like.
I don't mean to disrupt any progress you had in your conversation. We do have a winner, though.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, let us know.
So Gerald has won. It's not Gerald Broussard, don't worry. Do you know the answer, Kevin? What was your answer going to be? By the way, we get the first person who was given an opportunity to answer the question was correct. We did not have any wrong answers, so I'm proud of us.
My answer would be Alaska.
That is correct.
Okay, but your first thought is Texas.
Yes, Texas is the trick.
Everything is so big in Texas.
Yes,
but Alaska's bigger than you think.
Yes, it's massive, as a matter of fact. and it's also like it doesn't get done justice because of where it is on the map too, because you're never really looking at it in comparison to other states.
Well, it's like Asia. So you don't really think of Asia a whole lot. Have you ever been, by the way? I've only been to
I have never been to Alaska.
Michelle and I was at 4 or 5 years ago, went on an Alaskan cruise, and if I had all the money in the world, we'd probably go every year.
Really?
I loved it.
The answer, by the way, I said by land. Would you have an answer if I asked you the biggest state by population? What would your answer be there?
Oh, I don't know. I would probably say California.
And you would be correct again.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, huh?
So, although Northern California, I don't know how many people, although San Francisco, Oakland area probably, the Bay Area.
What California has going for it is it's a combination of land and people, right? Because you have L.A., but you also have so many areas. Whereas New York, has all that population, but they just have the one area.
Yeah, it is. It's not real big. No question. All right, so again, we're talking about I want to sit here and go, because I'm mad. I don't miss it. I really appreciate that most of the time my angst about the Astros is based on the Astros and not the umpires. And every once in a while we go off on umpires and we get aggravated. A lot of it is procedural, which kind of that's what this is. I remember one of the last times I got really mad at an umpire. It was during the COVID year. I've been mad at umpires since then, but I remember one shining example was during the COVID year when the Astros were playing the Rays, and it's like the end of the game, and there's a check swing. I'm like, just appeal to first base. Like, what does it hurt you? You do it all year long. Why in a playoff game at the end, a critical check swing, are you not appealing to first base? Why you feel like you got to make that call when you know you didn't even really see it anyway? So, again, that though it's normally procedural issues that I get really, really upset with officials, like with umpires, like I do NFL officials. But I don't miss it. It's just easier for me to get over a game when it's my manager or my head coach or my player that botches it, rather than having to worry about whether the officiating or the league or whatever stole it from me. Because I've said for years, it's something that we've argued about for decades on the air, but I've said for years, it's way worse when the league cheats on you than when the other team cheats on you. I know some people disagree on that. The other team cheating on you, cheating to win, is part of in most cases is kind of like part of the gamesmanship of the game. The league or the umpires or the referees, whoever's representing the actual league, there's not supposed to be any gamesmanship there. They're supposed to be fair and impartial and giving both teams equal chances. I mean, it's not supposed to be gamesmanship with umpires. And I understand that in baseball, before the current system with replay, there was more gamesmanship between umpires and players. And I'm sure there's some in basketball where, you're talking to the official, try to, and coaches and officials, there's gamesmanship, but it's not. I've always felt it's way worse getting cheated by the league than by the other team. Way worse. I mean, and so, no, it's just, I'm not wanting to feel that, but we'll get past. It's something that a win will help for sure. We'll see if they can get another one today. Another couple examples that have come to me is how high up would we put Trey Regis and Elijah Mitchell in this 1-2 punch thing?
That's good, and you have to,
But Kale kind of fits into that, too. That's the problem
right.
with 1-2 punches. Some of them are threesomes.
And then I'm trying to think, would you have had a second option when you had, Alonzo? I'm trying to think of another stretch of those running backs. They all kind of cycled through where there wasn't that many years where there were two. I guess Mitchell and Regis might be the most where they were both that prolific on the same team.
Well, you had Elijah McGuire.
That's what I'm saying. Who else was really that relevant on those teams?
Well,
didn't you have Alonzo? Is it Harris?
Harris, yeah, that's who I was going to say. He had one game where he had 5 touchdowns, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Harrison McGuire is a definite one. And again, they had some really explosive games.
It's probably the biggest what if Montrell Johnson and Monty Bailey stay here together. That could have turned into, you want to talk about some all-time numbers based on the trajectory they were on.
That is true. That is a bit frustrating. But yeah, the Cajuns, ironically, because most of this was before your time, but for decades, other than Brian Mitchell, the Cajuns had never had a running back that rushed for 1,000 yards until Terrell Finroy. They never had one. Now, they had some stretches with Dwayne Williams and P.D. Broussard when Brian was in the late 80s where, they could run it pretty well just like they did with, in the Finroy Dez era. But for years, they didn't have any running backs. And here we got, we just mentioned, 3 running back duos for the Cajuns. So, Dez, it wasn't a running back, but, there's some running back duos here. So it's kind of interesting the way that is played out. But no, there's quite a few here on the to mention that we hadn't mentioned yet. Another basketball one that was mentioned probably a little bit before your time was Brian Hamilton and Tyrus Wade. Like Tyrus Wade was one of the guys. You know, he wasn't around long, but he was really good while he was here. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Brian Hamilton kind of guys who get a lot of rebounds and have the ability to play defense and score points. So I'm a big fan of those guys. So no, some very good basketball suggestions and some running back suggestions as well on the football side for the Cajuns. All right, it's time for a timeout. We'll take that timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season here, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley bring you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home and bring in outdoor items when the storm makes landfall. Actually, before the storm makes landfall. Have emergency kits stocked with food, water, medication. Know your evacuation routes. Listen to local authorities. Stay informed with battery-powered radio, and make sure you have fresh batteries. Very important. Remember, safety is in your hand. These hurricane preparedness tips powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crawley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 103.7 and 104.1. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th, thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Bryson Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Bryson Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Bro Bridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana.
You've never seen prices this low at Regional Homes of Opelousas. From June 26th through July 3rd, we're clearing out all inventory during our biggest clearance event of the year, the Red, White, and Blue sale. Look for red, white, and blue tagged homes across the lot. Everything must go. These move-in ready homes are priced to sell fast, and with deals this good, it's first come, first served, so do not wait. Stop by today on 14704 Highway 190 in Opelousas to tour our discounted homes before the sale begins, or visit regionalhomesopelousas.com/red tag to learn more.
Are you fluent in Footlish? Probably not, but not to worry. We're here to help with the Footlish Dictionary. The Punks. A Major League Baseball team that, according to Kevin, acts like a bunch of loudmouth punks, also known as the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, back to the man with his very own language, Kevin Foote and Footnotes on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. All right. Who would we put in a 1-2 punch with Levi? They're really, I don't know that they're, it was, because it was always a popular discussion or debate point that I like number one receivers, and it's never been a big emphasis of this, whether it was Coach Napier or Coach Des, to have that clear-cut number one receiver.
Michael Jefferson's the only one they ever really had.
Yeah, I think Jefferson would be the only one.
But that was not
really
Levi
just one
either.
year,
and it wasn't Levi. That was the year after Levi left.
Oh, that's true. Well, Billy's first year here, they had what's his name that played
Jamarcus Bradley.
Yeah. Yes, he was a clear-cut number one that first year.
Right.
But you're right, Levi kind of. I mean, Lacey was there, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
he was just part of a committee
rotation.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, every everyone you're going to name was part of it. It was a rotation there. I mean, Michael Jefferson jumps out. LeJean was kind of that. He was the number one. His last year here with Ben.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like overwhelming.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it up there with.
I'm gonna tell you, there's a chance that it's gonna be this year if Shelton stays healthy. It feels like there's a big gap between him and everybody else.
I mean, everyone was hoping they were gonna have that last year, and then wouldn't that? I mean, now that, and we're gonna talk a lot about this when we get to Sunbelt Conference Media Days in a few weeks, looking back at last season. But what a strange year that was with him. Like, had all these high hopes, and then everyone, so many people just ditched on him. Then come to find out he was actually hurt in the first game, and then he ended up being really good down the stretch. But there were so many injuries and everything that they didn't get to really fully realize.
Well, that's why the excitement's building around this year. I mean, if he's able to go into it healthy.
Yes, of course, the offense we were thinking was going to be more pass heavy, and this year, you figure it's going to be pretty run heavy. And I don't, again, we'll be talking a lot more about Cajun football when we get to Sunbelt Conference Media Day in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it's here already. It's just. It's crazy to me. But again, not every good era. We talked about this last week. Not every really good era has a 1-2 punch. And not having a 1-2 punch is not necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of times it's because, like, you have one dominant player. Like, if we're talking LSU basketball, Pistol Pete Maravich. Like, Pistol didn't have a 1-2 punch. He was the 1 and the 2. It would be like a 1-4 punch with him. Or if you're real balanced, and like we had some suggestions earlier, like the team when Coach Evans was here, Lonnie Thomas and DeGray and Horman, those teams were balanced, and even the early '80s team, which was probably my favorite UL basketball era ever, because I was a huge fan and in high school. And they, we mentioned all of them, the Deion Browns, Jordan's dad, and Graylin Warner, who passed away not that long ago, and Pop Turner and Alonzo Allen and Dan Gay, and they and then Drexel on the back end of it. They were just balanced. Johnny Collins, point guard, and so they were just so balanced so that you could come up with a 1-2 punch, but it's not really like Jake Brandon kind of a 1-2 punch.
I have one for you.
Okay.
I'm going to save it till after the break.
Okay. Yeah,
Radio tease.
We're getting close. Is this what sport?
This is UL basketball.
I'm gonna try to come up with some really cool baseball ones.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. That's obviously it's you're thinking out, you're coloring outside the lines when you're coming up with baseball ones.
Yes.
But you can do them.
Yeah, and I'm old, so I like going back in time. Some it kind of makes it a little fun, going back in time and doing it. But yeah, we'll certainly do that more on the other side. We'll have some softball ones too. 1 hour down, another hour to go. Stay tuned.
Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s. Every day, one thought haunts you. What if I stop? A 2026 British Medical Journal study says you're going to gain every pound back. So, what now? Well, there's an answer. Alex Goen patented hypnosis. The Journal of the American Medical Association says adding behavior therapy to GLP-1s produces 3 times the results than GLP-1s alone. And hypnosis is behavior therapy concentrated. Alex Goen Hypnosis is the only U.S. patented hypnosis proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office. Engineered to destroy cravings, make you full on half the food, and kill late-night fridge attacks. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome, 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com.
It's 9 a.m. You just received a voicemail from your boss.
Hey, Janet. Heads up. We got an important meeting coming up Thursday. The big guys are coming into town, so I need you in charge of lunch, and we've got to look good.
Luckily for Janet, she knows a place, and she knows her boss will be impressed.
Honey Baked Ham can cater your next event. Delicious and freshly sliced deli trays, box lunches with sandwich, chips, and dessert. Or try our fresh salad boxes and the perfect touch with a meat and cheese tray. Honey Baked Ham Company.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
A 3-run ninth inning was not enough for the Houston Astros as they lost 5-4 to the Minnesota Twins last night. Peter Lambert on the mound went 5 2/3, giving up 4 runs on 5 hits with 4 strikeouts. Game 2 of the series will be today, and it'll be Joe Ryan for the Twins versus Mike Burrows for the Astros. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. tonight, and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Yesterday in the World Cup knockout stages, Brazil defeated Japan 2-1 and will face the winner of today's Ivory Coast-Norway match on July 5th. That match kicks off at noon today. Paraguay eliminated Germany in a penalty shootout and will meet the winner of France and Sweden on July 4th. France and Sweden kick off today at 4 p.m. Morocco also advanced on penalties, knocking out the Netherlands to set up a July 4th matchup with Canada. The final round of 32 match today is at 8 p.m. at the Azteca as Ecuador takes on Mexico. The winner will advance to face the winner of Wednesday's DR Congo and England match on July 5th. Two-time NBA All-Star John Morant is on the move as he's been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers from the Memphis Grizzlies. The full trade sends Morant to Portland with Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to Memphis. Morant has only played 76 games for the Grizzlies in the past 3 seasons due to off-court issues and injuries. The Detroit Lions have released cornerback Terrion Arnold yesterday after his bail was set in Hillsbury County, Florida at $1 million. Arnold was arrested after turning himself in last week on felony charges of robbery and kidnapping in Florida. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome back to Footnotes. You're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station. And we had a lot of fun in the first hour. We gave away a prize on our America's 250th birthday little contest, so that was good. Congratulations to Gerald for winning that. We had some more suggestions and discussion on our Footnote Summer Project, and for those who haven't heard, it is week 5, and it is of our the topic for is 1-2 punches, and we're doing UL LSU McNeese only, any sport. And so again, I'm not as worried about. We'll see how many suggestions we get to see which ones we'll do top 10. We might just have to do an overall top 10 per school if we don't get enough for one individual. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about having some good memories and remembering some of the great players and combos that have played at those 3 schools, and that's kind of what part of the value and the fun of doing a summer project like we've done for, I don't know, I guess this is like 27 years now. I'm getting old. I was just thinking about it during the break. It's just amazing to me. Like, I'm about to bring up some people that played like 45 years ago. That era, or 40-something years ago. And I always think about what it's like now that I'm old. When I first broke into the business in the 80s, the older gentlemen that I worked with, and there was a lady too, but at the paper, but the older, like, if they were talking about 40 years ago for them, that would have been like World War II. That would have been like the 40s. Kind of makes you feel old, if you know what I mean.
You know what I saw yesterday was the Cleveland Spiders roster back in the day. You ever gone through that?
The Cleveland Spiders. No, help me out here.
The Cleveland Spiders in 1890. Well, so there's a roster that's better than this one too. 1890 is not the best year. Peekaboo Beach was on that roster, but the names are just ridiculous. I mean, they're incredible.
No, they had names back then.
Yeah, the Cleveland Spiders had a specific team with about 7 or 8 of them that are just ridiculous.
Like Blue Moon Odom and name, like they all were cool names.
Yeah, like Peekaboo Beach, and they had brothers named Patsy and Pussy. Really, swear, brothers. And I mean they had a bunch of them.
Unbelievable. All right, so again, if you want to help us out on any of that, what we haven't gotten to yet, because I got so mad about the umpire situation in the play that happened in the 9th inning, is our poll question of the day. So,
yeah,
which is also a patriotic theme.
We're sticking on the theme. We did baseball yesterday, so we're asking you, how about the most patriotic moment in NFL history? We've got Whitney Houston's national anthem rendition. We've got Pat Tillman's sacrifice being honored. We have the return to play after 9/11. Or your own submissions. What do you got?
Well, I mentioned yesterday, I'm still not. It brings up too many bad memories, speaking of officiating, of that game after 9/11. Of course, the Saints of all teams would be the team that have to go play at New York against the Giants after 9/11, and they called like 47 penalties on the Saints in the game. And so I'm certainly not voting for that. Look, I am. Whitney Houston had an incredible voice. That rendition and that, I'd have to vote for that. I thought that was awesome. If that stuff impacts you at all, even it's one of the things that when you hear something like that, and it's been going on for, what was that, 34 years ago or something like that. When you hear something like that, every time, they tend to get old sometime. And I'm not saying you roll your eyes, but it gets kind of, I've heard that. I've been there, done that kind of thing. Every time I hear a rendition, that one again, I like it. That's awesome. So I'm voting Whitney Houston.
I'm voting Pat Tillman. But I certainly understand.
Well, the Pat Tillman one, again, that is more like, it's not a moment. Like,
right.
It's just
it's a storyline,
his
I guess.
story in his life. I could certainly vote for that, but it's not really a moment. Like,
Fair.
what moment is there?
Well, they've honored him on
Yeah.
the field. I guess.
No, obviously he was an incredible athlete, an example, and American and all that stuff. No question. Not saying he's not, a better American or anything, but in terms of a moment, I don't, but no, I certainly have nothing bad to say about that situation with him. And I would vote for either one of those over, especially now, the 9/11 situation. All right. If you, again, want to talk about our poll question of the day or a 1-2 punch, or you have anything to inflame my frustration from the Astros loss, or if you have an opinion, especially an educated soccer opinion about the goal that was disallowed for Germany yesterday. By the way, in addition to that, when the Americans got off to a good start, I'm looking from afar on this side of the fence. When Americans got off to a good start and won those first two games or matches or whatever we're going to call them, I heard a lot of people say, well, that's encouraging. I heard people say, well, these teams are not very good. America still has no chance. How much more chance do you think they have, whether you disallowed the goal or allowed the goal, just the fact that Paraguay was that close to Germany? Or would that be overrating it, do you think?
I don't think it's overrating it. I do have a write-in for you, by the way. Caller just decided to pass along to me. Blaine Gauthier and Harry Peoples was suggested.
I liked Harry Peoples. I was a big fan of Harry Peoples. Just one of those guys, when you interview him, it was cool, and I liked him. I don't know if I would go that far, certainly not green far, but no, I'm all for Harry Peoples. I was certainly a fan of him. He, you interview all these players, and some of them kind of stick with you because of just their personalities and what they, how they handle themselves and their stories that behind them. And so, yeah, I was a Harry Peoples fan. So,
the Quaife brothers was the other suggestion.
Wow, that is a good one because they were, leaders and, again, different positions. I kind of like that one a lot. They were because they were brothers, they were an obvious 1-2 punch, but they, in that era, it was unbelievable. Like, especially after last year, where all the injuries on the offensive line, Coach Hudd's first 4 years, the offensive line made every start. Like, every offensive lineman made every start. And that's why it's so hard when you go back and compare coaches and quarterbacks or whatever you're going to compare. Everyone has different challenges. And it's just, they were so good on the off and so healthy and good on the offensive line and so good at defensive tackles, sometimes one of the most underrated positions. And when you look at the greatest seasons that Cajun football has had over the last, 2 decades, and you look at those first couple years with Coach Hudd, and then you look at when the Cajuns were ranked and they had all the running, look at how good their run-stopping defensive tackles were. And I know we're going to talk about the offensive line, and we should. We're going to talk about the consistent quarterback play and the running game, and I'm as much into running the football as anyone. But another common denominator of those teams and the really good teams that when Billy was here was big-time players at the defensive tackle position. And it's very important. But no, those are some good ones. All right, so you said you had one.
Basketball. It's some bias related because it was my first year on campus. Frank Bartley and Bryce Washington.
No, I mean those again, though very good. Man, that was your first year?
Yep. Freshman year.
They were good. They were good players, no question. Bryce was
maximized the
pretty
talent.
Good, yes. But he was pretty good at a lot of different things, is what I was going to say. He wasn't, I don't know that he was great at anything, although at times he was a really good rebounder. But he was really good at a lot of things, and Barkley could shoot the three. Plus, Barkley gives you nostalgia because his dad played defensive line on some good Cajun teams in the late 70s, so that was kind of cool. But no, it was I agree. I'm good with that. That was a good one. All right, I said I was going to date myself. I got actually a softball one, and I'm going to date myself baseball wise. One of the way back when in the 80s, they had a Lafayette High middle infield with Randy Robichaux and Todd Thomas. Randy's brother Ron was on the team, power hitter. Randy played shortstop. You could do the Robichaux, or you could do Randy and Todd Thomas. A little bit later than that, you had a double play combination of one of the great names in Cajun baseball history, Perry Berry, and LSU. His son ended up playing at LSU, but you had Tommy Bates and Perry Berry. I was a big fan of Tommy Bates, one of my favorite Cajun players ever. You know, we had a pretty good double play combination 2 years ago at UL that you could. I mean, that was a really special double play combination there. So, you know, we haven't really done the baseball thing yet. Going way back, Gary Hart and Javi DeJesus was pretty good. There was also there were two pretty good catchers at one time in the early 90s. Paul Bacco played a decade or so in the major leagues, and our friend Ken Myers, who's still a big part of Cajun athletics from an administration and runs the Hall of Fame, the Sports Hall, UL Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame. But he was really good, a little bit more offensive than Paul at that point in their careers. But you know that was a 1-2 catching combination. You don't get that a whole lot, where one of them would DH, the other one would catch. And, you know, they won a lot of games and won regionals. I mean, they didn't win regionals, but made it to finals of a regional and made it to regionals each year. And so that was some baseball ones that come to mind. I was trying to think, was Jordan when Lexi Elkins was the catcher and just fabulous. Someone suggested Jordan Wallace, but pitcher but also I was thinking going back to 2008, Donna Bourgeois and Ashley Brignac was a really good 1-2 punch in terms of in the circle pitching for the Cajuns. So just some baseball and softball ones there as well. And it was there's some really good ones. I mean, if you start doing UL softball, there's some really good ones. But like you said, baseball and softball are a little different. Do you do double play combinations? Do you do pitchers? You could do pitcher and catcher. I guess you could do like 1-2 batters in the lineup or 3-4 sluggers in the lineup, that kind of thing as well. So there's a lot of different ways. You know, we went through all of that when we did Major League Baseball in week 2. Or was that? No, that was actually week 1. We started with Major League Baseball. So a lot of different ways to spin that. But cool to remember all those names for sure. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Make sure you celebrate America's 250th birthday with Lafayette Stars and Stripes, held on Saturday, July the 4th. That's this Saturday at Park International in downtown Lafayette. There'll be kids' activities, local pop-up shots, food vendors, musical performances by Sold Out, Rusty Matoir, and Zydeco Crush, as well as DJ Digital, and fireworks at night. This is a free family event. Make sure to mark your calendars for the Lafayette Stars and Stripes, presented by Lafayette Consolidated Government, LUS, LFT Fiber, Serving Good Vibes, AVA, and Delta Media Corp.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of Fort Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserlo talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube. YouTube.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number 1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the LHSAA, are the 110,000 high school sports students in Louisiana. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free to do so. 337-706-0111. So we've got a lot of UL basketball. We've made a lot of progress on UL football. We got a lot more. We haven't had really any suggestions on McNeese, so we need help from our friends in Calcasieu Parish in the Lake Charles area to give us some McNeese ones if we're going to get that ball rolling. And we haven't had nearly enough from LSU. We've got Shaq and Chris Jackson. We've got Rohan Davey and Josh Reed. We've got Burt Jones and Andy Hamilton. And pitching-wise, we got Chad Auger and Paul Bird and Kate Anderson and Ianson. So we got a couple to kind of get the ball rolling with LSU, but obviously a lot more work to do on the LSU side of all of this. All righty. Let us head back out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Kevin, I got some old ones for you. How about in LSU basketball, Dwayne Scales and Rudy Macklin?
No, again, those were some really good teams. I mentioned that Jardy played on, and yeah, I mean, I was a Dwayne Scales guy. He was kind of like kind of a problem child at times. You could say him, or, the leader of the team was Ethan Martin. You could say Ethan, and then when Derek Taylor came along, he was really good too. So, yes.
Yeah, you also could go with Candyman Cook too. There was a lot of combinations you could have gone on that team. And okay, how about let's go to UL baseball. How about Jace Conrad and Austin Robichaux?
Yes. I mean, obviously, those are two local guys who played a huge role. You could also do Jace Conrad and, a shortstop. and so who was outstanding. He always said his name wrong for me, but no, there was there was a lot of good players on those two teams. But yeah, in terms of team leaders, your best pitcher and arguably your best player was an All-American second baseman, no question, local players.
How about one way back USL football? How about Magic Man and Calvin James?
Man, can you imagine? I get to see Calvin all the time, and if he would have been fulfilled his potential again, he had NFL talent back then, but he had that one magical season with Roy Henry. Yeah, Roy Henry and David Oliver comes to mind, but yeah, there was they had some great names back then. Walt Slattery. I love I think the names. And maybe they were just because I was young and a fan, but it seemed like they had great names, Raymond Lation, and they just had great names of Cajun football players back in the 70s. But yeah, that was a very, the Calvin James, Roy Henry for 1 year was great.
Well, that's all I got, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, I appreciate it. No, Calvin comes around here a lot, so I get to see him, and obviously I didn't know him back then. I was just a fan, and I got a chance to talk to him because his son was a really good wide receiver at St. Thomas More, so I talked to him a little bit then. But no, a peach of a guy, and for those who don't, weren't around back then or hadn't heard about it, no question, very, very, very talented way back then. All right, let us head back out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Footsie.
Yes, sir.
Footsie, you kind of breezed over, in my mind, one of the toughest pitchers ever in the history of USL athletics. I thought Gary Hart. And when Gary Hart pitched, that's when a pitcher would close midweek and pitch on the weekend. And Gary Hart closed a few games midweek and threw again on the weekend. To me, and you said Gary Hart and Javi de Jesus, but Gary Hart, in my mind, was one of the toughest pitchers ever at USL.
I echo those sentiments totally. Gary Hart's probably my favorite UL pitcher ever. Just loved him and covering. They were very different. Gary Hart was a guy. Javi had a lot of talent, no question, but very few pitchers were as tough as Gary Hart. He's one of those guys who he told you when he was going to pitch. And he would get ready in a hurry, and he would pitch and pitch and pitch. He actually made it to the major leagues for a little while. He was in the A's organization, but no, I'm totally 100% with you on Gary Hart. And if you ask me, my favorite UL pitcher ever probably would be him.
Yeah, he would be right up there with my favorites also. You want to know one of my favorite basketball players, but I don't know if he really had a 1-2 punch. But, I don't think this player gets enough credit. But I like Cedric Makion. Now, you want to talk about a good name? Makion, that was a good name.
Yeah, Cedric Makion was, went to East Ascension, and he was a guy, he was part of those really good teams. First of all, just a fabulous dunker for people that just like the art of guys who could jump and dunk with authority. He was one of the best dunkers in UL basketball history. Could rebound and play defense. Not a great scorer, good enough scorer. But, yeah, he was great name, and, he was part of a talented, balanced team, yes.
I saw in my mind, I still believe this may be the best basketball player I ever saw. The Cajuns were playing Louisiana Tech at the Cajun Dome. Cedric Makion's man beat him by like a step, like at the free throw line. He recovered, and he just blocked. The man went up for a layup, and he just jumped up and pinned the ball on the backboard. Man, it was just I can still see that in my mind. To me, it's like the greatest defensive play I've seen ever. Man, that dude could play. But, yeah, Gary Hart, I don't think we should just brush over that dude's name because he was a tough, tough cat.
No question.
Anyway, And by the way, I'm mad at Manny because Manny stole all mine from yesterday. So.
You and Manny are thinking alike. Well, that's not all bad. That's not all bad.
No, it's not all bad, but Manny took mine. So anyway, but yeah, when you said Gary Hall, boy, that brought back some good memories. That guy was really good. All right, Footsie, I'll holler at you later.
All right, I appreciate it. No, I'm a big fan of Gary Hart, and I mentioned Ken Myers and Paul Bacco. They played together, and Ken Myers, it wasn't that long ago. He and I had a discussion about Gary Hart. He was a big fan of Gary Hart as someone who caught him, no question. So yeah, that is a good one for sure. A lot of really good players there, and it was an era where it was the first, right before that you had, if you want to do, again, 1-2 punches are kind of what you think of them. At the time, you had Ken's older brother Kevin was a shortstop from Abbeville, and then Howard Landry was a pitcher from Abbeville. I know shortstops and pitchers at the same position, but they both were key players on that regional team that went to Stillwater in the very first regional and got eliminated by, funny story there, but they got eliminated by, ironically, McNeese, coached by Tony Robichaux. In the first ever regional, they, it was kind of an interesting pairing. They had Loyola Marymount was there, I remember, Oklahoma State, Wichita State, and Mike Lansing, who played in the major leagues for years with the Expos and some other teams, was there. And then obviously Oklahoma State back then was just a powerhouse slugging team. But no, they had good players on that team, and they had some Vermillion Parish connection there for sure. So again, baseball, like Dawson says, a little more complicated. But you can't go wrong with a 1-2 punch pitching-wise, and they were Gary Hart was outstanding, no question there. All right, we'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
A 3-run ninth inning was not enough for the Houston Astros as they lost 5-4 to the Minnesota Twins last night. Peter Lambert on the mound went 5 2/3, giving up 4 runs on 5 hits with 4 strikeouts. Game 2 of the series will be today, and it'll be Joe Ryan for the Twins versus Mike Burrows for the Astros. First pitch is at 7:10 p.m. tonight, and you can listen to it on News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. Yesterday in the World Cup knockout stages, Brazil defeated Japan 2-1 and will face the winner of today's Ivory Coast-Norway match on July 5th. That match kicks off at noon today. Paraguay eliminated Germany in a penalty shootout and will meet the winner of France and Sweden on July 4th. France and Sweden kick off today at 4 p.m. Morocco also advanced on penalties, knocking out the Netherlands to set up a July 4th matchup with Canada. The final round of 32 match today is at 8 p.m. at the Azteca as Ecuador takes on Mexico. The winner will advance to face the winner of Wednesday's DR Congo and England match on July 5th. Two-time NBA All-Star Ja Morant is on the move as he's been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers from the Memphis Grizzlies. The full trade sends Morant to Portland with Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to Memphis. Morant has only played 76 games for the Grizzlies in the past 3 seasons due to off-court issues and injuries. The Detroit Lions have released cornerback Terrion Arnold yesterday after his bail was set in Hillsbury County, Florida at $1 million. Arnold was arrested after turning himself in last week on felony charges of robbery and kidnapping in Florida. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason? Moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks or excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping those pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating, 337-367-1414, or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating, the pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice, those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Looking for a great deal on golf this summer? Head to Farm Alley Golf Course for the Sizzlin' Summer Special. Every Tuesday through Thursday, tee off anytime between noon and 3:30 and enjoy 18 holes of championship golf, including a cart for just $55. That's unbeatable summer golf at an unbeatable price. Gather your friends, sharpen your game, and make the most of your afternoons at Farm Alley Golf Course. Book your tee time today and take advantage of the Sizzlin' Summer Special, only at Farm Alley.
Need peace of mind with your estate planning? Turn to Beal & Hebert, your trusted hometown lawyers. At Beal & Hebert, we make estate planning simple and stress-free, ensuring your legacy is secure and your future is in the right hands. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at BealHebert.com. That's BealHebert.com. Safeguarding your tomorrow today.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Kevin Foote prides himself on being a glass-half-full guy.
They're playing the Athletics.
The cat from Seinfeld's starting for the Astros today. I'm supposed to think we're going to win? This cat, how old is this cat? Plus, he's short. I mean, how are we going to win this game? This guy's ERA he's got a Peyton Manning ERA.
If that's a glass half full, I don't want to hear what an empty glass sounds like.
You betcha.
Back to more of the most positive man in Louisiana sports talk here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles.
Welcome back to Footnotes. All righty, now it's time to get reacquainted with our friend Mr. Jeff, who's doing very busy summer, doing a lot of interviews with high school football. How are you, sir?
I'm great, man. Tuesdays are my days off, so this is where I'm hot and heavy trying to get as many as I can before the school starts.
Absolutely. How's it going?
I tell you, man, last 2 weeks ago you called me a pig and slop. And normally I would have gone off on that, but I didn't have time to even understand what you were saying, but you were right. I'm having so much fun this summer, man. I ain't had this much fun since I was in my 20s. This is just really, really enjoyable. And the stuff that I'm finding out that I didn't know, like I texted you last week, who would have known that Coach Hightower worked on the lunar landing module at NASA when he was an engineering intern in 1968. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, nobody knows unless you're really close to Coach Hightower. I mean, that's like, wow, man. I found out this morning. I interviewed Coach Barus when Karen Crow made their run in '92, they played Captain Shreve in the first round and won. Of course, we know they went to the Dome and won. That was their first playoff game they ever won. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Karen Crow was not very good for a long time.
I know that. I mean, you would have thought somewhere along the line, maybe in the '70s, they had picked up a playoff win. I thought Church Point was pitiful.
Well,
man.
but Jeff, you know yourself, making the playoffs in the '60s, '70s, and '80s was a way tougher proposition than it was now. I mean, you could go 8-2 or 9-1 and not make the playoffs in that era.
Yeah. We don't. Let's not go there because I'm already, stuff like that really gets me upset.
No, I understand.
Well, let's see. You want to know who I've gotten done so far?
Well, look. Again, I know you're a big Tony Citizen dude. We're doing 1-2 punches. Tony Citizen was probably a one-man show when he was at McNeese, or was there a 1-2 punch with him?
When he was at Churchbourne, he had Jock Bork. Jock Bork was the speed guy, the outside guy, and Tony was the man up the middle. I didn't follow McNeese.
Oh, okay, you didn't follow him at McNeese. I got you.
I didn't follow McNeese.
There's another guy from the era, I got my first McNeese suggestion, Stephen Storing, who he ended up playing wide receiver in the NFL. Keith Artigo from Eunice was really good. And so that's certainly a 1-2 combination.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm hot on the trail of Warwick Dunn and Kevin Franklin. You think I'm going to get those two guys?
Well, I covered that game when they played. Karen Crow had a really nice rivalry in the early '90s with Catholic High, and when Kevin was playing, and then Kevin Franklin was the speed. If I remember, Warwick might have been a sophomore quarterback, and Kevin was the speed running back. There was like an 18-15 game in that series way back then. Just strange games, but a lot of talent on the field in that game. I remember it well.
Oh, man, that was like, 94, Kevin's senior year when Catholic got him in the first round and beat him. Oh, man, that was a great game. That was a great game at the Crow Dome. Great game. But that 1-2 punch of Warwick Dunn and Kevin Franklin, you can put that up there.
Absolutely. It was really good. Well, look, it's great hearing from you again. Keep it up. We'll get some more next week. I appreciate it.
All right.
Take care. No, it was he was Jeff's a Church Point guy, and what he was talking about, for those who didn't know, there was there's some again in the 80s. It was tough. I mean, you could go 9-1, 8-2. And if you didn't win the tiebreaker, if you didn't win by enough points, then you didn't get it, And so he has certain seasons that, just can kind of ruin his day if he thinks about it. Kind of like me with the Saints. And in 1988, the Saints finished tied for first. And with the cheaters and the Rams in the division, they didn't even make the playoffs because back then the Saints didn't lose to AFC teams. And I don't think you should get penalized for not losing to being too tough to lose to AFC teams, but that's not the way the tiebreaker works. The tiebreaker works that if you lose to wimpy AFC teams, then it hurts you. It doesn't help you. And for an NFC tiebreaker. And so, the Cheaters and the Rams both lost to AFC teams, and the Saints didn't. So they lost the tiebreaker, and they didn't make the playoffs. So, no, it's that it kind of works that way. There was one for Port Barry, I remember. I want to say Port Barry might have been 9-1 one year. I think they were 9-1, and they didn't make the playoffs in the 80s. So, again, it was very different back then. And that's why I always say, when you talk about greatest runs and all of that, especially in high school, the rules were so much different. It was so much harder to make the semifinals. Like, look, it is impressive that we've, the Acadiana Airs had all these state championships and that incredible run we talk about it where it was going back to 94. But I still say making the semifinals like in 1988 or 89 was probably a bigger accomplishment than making the finals now, maybe even winning the state championship. It was just different back then. You had I mean, back in the late 80s up until 90, once you got to 92, like there were only 4 state champions. Like 4, that was it. For a while you had 9. Now we've at least got it down a little bit, but there were only 4 state champions. It was so hard to make the state finals. And making the quarterfinals and semifinals was a really big accomplishment. So if you were a program like he's talking about Church Point was, or like Karen Crow was in the 80s and not, in the 70s and 80s, then it was hard. It was an accomplishment to have a winning season, go 6-4, 7-3. And making the playoff, not making the playoffs was not like this bad thing. I mean, a lot of teams went 6-4 and 7-3 and didn't make the playoffs in that era. And so it's just different. You got to put all that through a filter. But I appreciate his suggestions there. Again, we if you want to make us, I did mention in that though that someone did text me the first McNeese, Stephen Storing and Keith Artigo, which has some local ties because Keith is from Eunice. But since we kind of brought up McNeese, I would say when I was younger, one of my first one that would come to mind for me is David Lawrence and John Rudd. And I always thought it was one of the strangest names. This could be one too. One of the strangest names. They had a player in McNeese in that era named Shirley, spelt with a C, McLaurin, and all 3 of those were really good. You had the Edmund Lawrence, the older brother, and David Lawrence, and then John Rudd, and then Shirley McLaurin, really good. Like I said, I was saying yesterday, the basketball in the early 80s. Now this was more the late 70s, but was just fabulous. And the rivalries between McNeese and Lamar and the Cajuns, and McNeese and the Cajuns, and UL and Lamar those rivalries. I'm not saying that there aren't good teams now. Like McNeese is in an incredible era right now for their basketball program. But there is no comparing the rivalries back then to what it is now. It's just not the same. I mean, I kind of think some of that the AAU mentality ruined a lot of that. And maybe you could argue, well, rivals aren't that important, or maybe y'all, people like me overrate rivalries. The rivalries back then compared to now, it's just not even the same. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have any rivalries, because there are rivalries now. But it is nowhere near as cool as what it was back then. And, didn't have a whole lot of, it's good that it's good that there's not as much hatred, like real hatred I'm talking about, between people, which you don't need, and that's not a good thing. But there's not enough of what I would call sports hatred, which it's not real hatred, but it's just the rivalry part of it. You don't pull for that school kind of thing. You don't have that as much anymore. But there are examples of it. But no, back then there was some our first McNeese talking there, and so we need to get the ball rolling there because we only have 2 days left. We're going to run out of time in a hurry. But man, we've got a lot. We certainly have enough for a 10 for UL basketball, and we're getting there on football, no question. We're getting there. Now, we don't have anything from like the 60s before my time, but we certainly have enough or getting there since then. All right, we'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros start
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros. Incredible! As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Around Acadiana, community means supporting the businesses that make our hometown special. That's why we're proud to spotlight local companies that are certified South Louisiana.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty dump and gooseneck trailers, portable buildings, cabins, decks, porches, fences, carports, and site-built metal shops. Located at Exit 7 in Carencro or at deltatrailersales.com.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
Happy birthday, America. Celebrate our 250th birthday with the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks in Acadiana at Freeman's Discount Fireworks. Their low prices are unbelievable, and all fireworks are guaranteed. They have a huge selection of novelty items to choose from, a large selection of fireworks, and Freeman's Fireworks has the largest selection of artillery shells, assortment packs, and 500-gram cakes. Celebrate America's 250th birthday with your family and the Freeman family with guaranteed fireworks that everyone enjoys. Freeman's Discount Fireworks has 2 convenient locations in New Iberia. They're a building on Jefferson Island Road at Admiral Doyle next to Freeman's Food and Furniture, and the Big Tent on Main Street near the corner of Nelson Canal Road. For the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks at the best prices, shop Freeman's Discount Fireworks.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you. Choose from classic designs, all customizable to fit your space, style, and budget. Our pools come with quality finishes, energy-efficient equipment, beautiful lighting, and professional installation from excavation to decking so you can dive in before the next heat wave hits. Don't just dream it, build it. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net.
Whether it's a tempting text message or a quick glance at your GPS, taking your eyes off the road for just a moment can have serious consequences. This includes turning around or reaching down. Distractive driving includes eating or putting on makeup. Distractive driving is anything that diverts your attention from driving. I'm Lorraine Luquette Vinoy with Service Chevrolet Cadillac, encouraging you to drive smart, drive safe, and keep those eyes on the road, Acadiana. This message is powered by Service Chevrolet Cadillac and this radio station, where safety meets style on the road.
Are you not getting enough Kevin Foote in your life?
I want more.
Then make sure to check out the latest episode of Foote's Friday Fury on the ESPN Southwest Louisiana YouTube page.
All that's important right now is they decide to change their draft philosophy, stop the run. If he was the first choice and he didn't stop the run, what good does that do? Nothing. So stop talking about what choice he is. Let's focus on stopping the run and stop botching the first and second round. That's all that's important. All that other stuff is just garbage, hatred talk that means nothing.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to get notifications of more of the Furious Foot.
Welcome back. Unfortunately, in the middle of the summer, I had to get a little furious at the start of the show because of the shenanigans of the ninth inning and the frustration of the ninth inning and last night's 5-4 loss for the Astros for the Twins. We'll see if they can bounce back today. Again, in some ways, nothing changes. Goal number 1, don't get swept. It's been a long time since the Astros got swept in a series, and they've done a pretty good job of winning game 1s of series. Pretty good job recently, but they have put themselves behind the 8 ball and have managed to avoid it. Hopefully they can not get swept now, because even though they kind of got real close to first place within a game, suddenly the Rangers have won 5 in a row. And remember, the Astros are playing the Rays this weekend, who had a June swoon, but they're starting to pick up steam again, the Rays. And so you don't want to have, a 2-4 or 1-5 home stand. That is not what they need, while the Rangers kind of went through a slump and they're suddenly picking up steam again. So, again, you never know which way baseball is going to go, and teams get hot, and And it's not good when Pena's not there. Pena was missed a lot of games earlier, and now he's on the IL again. And he's so good, and he got off to a slow start, but since he came back from the IL, he's actually been getting on base, been getting some big hits. His average is pretty good, and now defensively he is not. I don't know if he just hasn't played enough games to where he's in a routine. There have been plenty of plays that he hadn't made that in his prime, when he's playing his best baseball, he makes defensively. And so hopefully he can get back from the IL. They claim it's not going to be a long stretch, but it's still the IL, and it's not good. Now, I guess you could say it's good that they've got his replacement back, but he cannot hit, and hopefully he can stop swinging at balls. If you can hit, at least don't swing at balls. I don't know that that's that much to ask for, but it's something that I would like. We haven't really talked about the NBA because we got caught up in, talking about our Footnote Summer Project and the Astros and baseball and all. But it's Ja Morant was being discussed, maybe even for the Pelicans. I'd even heard somebody suggest maybe Ja Morant needs to go to the Heat. Instead, they exile him to is that the right verb to use? They exiled him to the Blazers. I mean, the Blazers are one of those teams in recent years where you kind of forget they exist here and there. That certainly over the years they've had, in my lifetime, they've had stretches where they were really good. I always talk about, recently we talked about the Blazers teams of the 70s and how good they were. And there was some, when we were doing the NBA, some Blazers team in the early 90s. I mean, they made the finals once in the early 90s. So they did have some good teams different times. But recently it's not been a whole lot. And, I don't know that we're ever going to hear much of Ja Morant unless he does crazy stuff, which hopefully he's put those days behind him. But, man, these rumors about these trades that are going on in the NBA, and I heard RP3 going off about that yesterday. It's just seems like a little much. Look, I get the nostalgia of it, and I guess if you're Golden State, it makes some sense, I guess. You would think you'd want to move on, but they may not be ready to move on. It's something we were talking about the Saints. The Saints, they got a new young coaching staff in. The Beef came in with his guys, and they are ready to move on. Which they weren't ready to move on when they hired Dennis Allen just yet. And apparently the Warriors are not ready to move on if they make this move. They're ready to try to get as much as they can out of it. And, over the next day or so, we might start finding some stuff out. And so the NBA is over, and yet we're in an interesting time right now kind of following it. And, again, I'm not a daily NBA fan like I was many years ago. But it is interesting to see what these organizations are going to do and what they're going to try to do. And then, you have a guy like Ja Morant, and they to the Blazers. So I can't imagine he's happy, but maybe that's the best thing for him. Like, I don't know if going to New Orleans is the best thing for Ja Morant with the issues he's had. I don't know if going to Miami is the best thing for him to try to kind of get rid of all the off the field stuff. Maybe Portland's good for him. We'll see how that plays out. But again, we've got that going, and then tomorrow, man, I need tomorrow to be a glorious morning. We don't need to, going to start losing games in a slump. And the Twins are a weird team. It's one of the things about baseball that's just so crazy. All of a sudden, the Astros have no idea how to get Josh Bell out. Pretty much everyone's gotten Josh Bell out for years now. A couple years ago, there was a lot of rumors that should the Astros pick up Josh Bell? And most people were like, no, he's terrible. And he can't hit this and he can't hit that. Look at what he's done. He hadn't done a whole lot. Well, when they played in Minnesota earlier this year, he had 2 home runs in 1 game, and it's like he had another one yesterday. They are really struggling to get Josh Bell out. Just can't get him out. The pitching, even though the Astros have been winning, their starting pitching has been very, very iffy. And they really need Burrows to pitch well again. I'm worried that Burrows' last good outing was a lot because of the shadows in Detroit. By the way, that Tiger team went to the Yankees last night and was up 7-0 for most of that game, and they won 7-3. And the Astros couldn't get him out, and the Yankees apparently couldn't get him out either. We'll see how long that little run lasts for the Tigers offense, because they're kind of coming alive with so many guys in the batting order hitting 1-something or 202 or something. So we'll see. Hopefully the Astros can bounce back. I certainly need it. Y'all have a good day.
Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 1037 and 1041. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th. Thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
Acadiana Legal Services Corporation provides free access to legal services. Their work spans across Louisiana. They're committed to helping eligible individuals navigate legal challenges from family law to public benefits. Their team delivers reliable, high-quality representation. Acadiana Legal Services provides comprehensive benefits and a supportive work environment. Join a team that makes a difference in the lives of people. Apply today at la-law.org/careers or careers@la-law.org.
Stop smoking with Alex Goen, patented hypnosis.
My name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend.